Imagine this: you wake up in the middle of the night. Your eyes flutter open, you can see your room, you're fully aware. But you can't move a muscle. A heavy, suffocating pressure builds on your chest, making it hard to breathe. You try to scream for help, but your voice is stolen, and no sound comes out. Then, from the corner of your eye, you sense a presence. A dark, shadowy figure standing in the doorway, watching you. This isn't a scene from a horror movie. For millions of people, this is a very real and terrifying experience called sleep paralysis. For centuries, it has been interpreted as demonic attacks, alien abductions, or ghostly visitations. In Newfoundland, it's the old hag. In Japan, it's kanashibari dash, being bound by metal. In medieval Europe, it was the incubus, a demon that sits on your chest. But the truth is, the monster isn't in your room. It's in your brain. And today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of the mind's most frightening glitches, to show you that understanding the science behind it is the ultimate weapon against the terror. First, let's tackle the most fundamental part of the experience, the paralysis. The reason you can't move is because your brain's safety switch has misfired at the worst possible moment. During the stage of sleep known as REM, or rapid eye movement, your brain is incredibly active. This is when you have your most vivid, story-like dreams. To prevent you from physically acting out these dreams, like trying to fly out of your bed or fight off a dream monster, your brain engages a brilliant protective mechanism. It releases neurotransmitters, primarily GABA and glycine, which act like a parking brake for your body. They inhibit your motor neurons, essentially unplugging your conscious will from your voluntary muscles. This state is called REM atonia, and it's a perfectly normal, essential part of a healthy night's sleep. The problem with sleep paralysis is that your conscious mind wakes up before the parking brake is released. You become aware of your surroundings, but the off switch for the paralysis hasn't been flipped yet. You are, in effect, trapped between the world of dreams and the world of wakefulness. Your mind is lucid, but your body is still in sleep mode. Imagine the sheer panic of your brain sending the command "move your arm," and the signal arriving at a dead end, with absolutely no response. It's a terrifying glitch in the system, where you are a prisoner in your own body, fully aware but unable to move a single finger. Next up, the part that causes the most terror, the shadowy figure. Why do so many people, across different cultures and time periods, report seeing a sinister presence in the room? This is your brain desperately trying to find a cause for the terrifying effect you're experiencing. Our brains are pattern recognition machines. We are hardwired to find agents and intentions. When you suddenly find yourself paralyzed and helpless, your brain's threat detection system, the amygdala, goes into overdrive. It starts screaming danger without knowing why. Your brain then frantically scans the environment, looking for the source of this perceived threat. This state of threat hypervigilance makes you incredibly sensitive to any ambiguity. In a dimly lit room, with your senses muddled, your brain's tendency for pareidolia, seeing faces and figures in random patterns, is amplified 1,000 times. That pile of clothes on the chair? It becomes a crouching figure. The faint shadow cast by the curtains? It's a tall man in the corner. Your brain is essentially creating a hallucination to provide a narrative for the intense fear and paralysis you're feeling. It's not that you see a figure and then get scared. You're already terrified because of the paralysis, and your brain invents the figure to explain why. This brings us to another terrifying layer, the auditory hallucinations. For many, the horror isn't just visual. They report hearing footsteps creeping closer, whispers just out of earshot, buzzing, static, or even blood-curdling screams. This happens for the same reason you see things. Your brain is trying to make sense of sensory input in a state of high alert. The auditory cortex, the part of your brain that processes sound, can become active during these episodes. In the dead quiet of your room, your brain might misinterpret the sound of your own blood rushing in your ears as footsteps. Or, it might simply generate sounds from scratch to match the level of fear your amygdala is producing. Think about it, your brain knows you're paralyzed and terrified. It concludes there must be a threat nearby. If it can't see one clearly, it will create one for you to hear. This adds a horrifying, multisensory dimension to the experience, making it feel all the more real and inescapable. Now for that suffocating feeling, the crushing weight on your chest. This is a classic feature of sleep paralysis, and it's the direct origin of the incubus and succubus myths. This sensation is a terrifying misinterpretation of your own breathing. You actually have two breathing systems. The first is automatic, controlled by your primitive brainstem, which keeps you breathing while you sleep. The second is conscious, controlled by your cerebral cortex, which allows you to hold your breath or take a deep sigh. During REM sleep, you are using the automatic, shallow breathing pattern. When you wake up into sleep paralysis, your conscious mind becomes aware of this shallow breathing and panics. You think, "I'm not getting enough air." Your conscious, panicked mind then tries to take control, to take deep, deliberate breaths. But it can't, because the voluntary muscles of your chest and diaphragm are still under the influence of REM atonia, they're still paralyzed. This creates a terrifying internal conflict. You feel a desperate need for more air, but your body isn't responding. Your brain interprets this struggle and the paralysis of your chest muscles as an external force, a heavy weight, a demon, an entity pushing down on you, suffocating you. It's a powerful illusion created by the internal battle between your conscious will and your sleeping body. This leads to another bizarre symptom, the out-of-body sensation. Some people don't see an intruder, but instead feel as though they are floating, flying, or even separating from their physical body. These are known as vestibular motor hallucinations. Your brain has a complex system that gives you a constant awareness of where your body is in space. This is called proprioception. A key area for this is the temporal parietal junction, or TPJ, which integrates information from your eyes, your inner ear's balance system, and your sense of touch to create your sense of self in the physical world. During the mixed-up state of sleep paralysis, this system can go haywire. The TPJ gets confused. It's receiving conflicting signals, the paralysis from REM atonia, the awareness of being awake, and a disoriented sense of your body's position. In an attempt to make sense of this jumbled data, the brain can create the powerful sensation that you are moving, spinning, or even floating above your own bed, looking down at your paralyzed body. It's your brain's best guess at what's happening when its internal GPS is on the fritz and trying to reboot. So, why is the experience so overwhelmingly terrifying? It's because your rational mind is sidelined while your primal fear center is in the driver's seat. As we mentioned, the amygdala is highly active during REM sleep. When you wake into sleep paralysis, your amygdala is already fired up. It immediately detects two massive red flags: you can't move, and you might be suffocating. For any creature, being immobilized is one of the most vulnerable states possible. Crucially, during this state, your prefrontal cortex, the logical, reasoning part of your brain, is still partially offline. This is the part that would normally say, "Hey, wait a minute, you're safe in bed, this is probably just a weird sleep thing." Without your rational mind to pump the brakes, the amygdala's fear signal is unchecked. It floods your system with pure, primal dread. This intense fear is the fuel for the hallucinations, creating a vicious feedback loop. The paralysis causes fear, the fear creates a hallucination, the hallucination confirms the fear is justified. Which makes you even more terrified, which in turn makes the hallucination more vivid. Now, let's talk about the practical side, the surprising triggers that can cause sleep paralysis. It's not random. The single biggest trigger is sleep deprivation and an inconsistent sleep schedule. Think of your sleep cycle as a complex, choreographed dance. When you're exhausted or your sleep times are all over the place, like pulling all-nighters for school or work, the dance becomes clumsy. The transitions between sleep stages get messy, making it much more likely for your brain to get stuck in that awkward state between REM and wakefulness. Stress and anxiety are also major contributors. When you're chronically stressed, your body is in a constant state of hyperarousal, which fragments your sleep architecture. Other sleep disorders, particularly narcolepsy, are strongly linked to sleep paralysis. And a surprisingly common factor is your sleeping position. Episodes are far more likely to occur when you're sleeping on your back. The exact reason isn't fully understood, but it may be that the supine position can lead to a slight collapse of the upper airway, causing snoring or mild apnea. This brief disruption in breathing can be just enough of a jolt to wake your conscious mind while your body remains in REM atonia. And finally, the most important point: how to break free and take back control. The first, and hardest, piece of advice is to try not to panic. This feels impossible, but remember that fear is the fuel for the fire. If you can develop the presence of mind to recognize what's happening, okay, this is just sleep paralysis, it's a brain glitch, it's not real, it will pass, you can rob the experience of its power. This awareness is your greatest weapon. Instead of trying to make a large movement like sitting up, which will fail and increase your panic, focus all your mental energy on a tiny part of your body. Try to wiggle a single toe, or twitch a finger, or even just move your eyes back and forth rapidly. Often, this small, focused effort is enough to send a breakthrough signal to your brain that short-circuits the paralysis, like a key turning in a lock. Another technique is to try and make a sound, a cough, a grunt. Even if no sound comes out, the effort of engaging those muscles can be enough to break the spell. To prevent it from happening in the first place, the solution is good sleep hygiene. Prioritize getting a full night's sleep. Go to bed and wake up around the same time every day, even on weekends, to regulate your internal clock. Create a relaxing bedtime routine to de-stress your mind. Make your bedroom a sanctuary for sleep, dark, quiet, and cool. And if you're prone to episodes, try sleeping on your side instead of your back. So, sleep paralysis isn't a supernatural encounter. It's a fascinating, albeit terrifying, glitch in the complex machinery of your brain. It's the byproduct of your mind waking up before your body, creating a perfect storm of paralysis, hallucination, and fear. Understanding the science behind it doesn't erase the memory of a scary experience, but it transforms it. It takes the power away from the demon and gives it back to you. It turns a night of terror into a moment of curious, albeit uncomfortable, neuroscience in action. Remember, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. While sleep paralysis is generally harmless, if you're experiencing frequent or highly distressing episodes that impact your well-being, it's always a good idea to speak with a healthcare professional. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced sleep paralysis? If you feel comfortable sharing, what did you see or feel during the episode? Reading through the comments on videos like this is a powerful way to see just how common and similar these experiences are, and it's a strong reminder that you are not alone in this. Share your story below.